We live.
All right, Zunk, what is going on?
Konnichiwa Beach, how's it hanging?
Well, it doesn't suck to be a Sabres fan this year.
It fucking doesn't.
I mean,
Finally.
it's not all titties and blowjobs, but it doesn't suck.
It does not suck. And you know what? Compared to the last 10 years, that's better than nothing.
uh, so, where's Buffalo currently at in the standings?
Last I look, I could tell you right now, but I believe it was ninth in the East.
Yeah, we're looking pretty decent there for a push to make the playoffs. There's a couple teams that we're really going to have to be battling here
Yeah.
with. Um,
We're technically 10th, actually, because the Islanders have surpassed us. They have 3 points on us, but we have 4 games in hand.
yeah, well, the Islanders are one of the teams that we need to worry about. They are making roster moves. Pittsburgh, Washington, two teams that we need to worry about to jump up ahead, and we need to stave off Florida.
Yes. I mean, it is going to be a battle for the final 2 playoff spots. But you know what? Even if they don't make it, it's about fucking time we at least at this point.
Yeah. So if you were to grade the team as a whole here through the first 50 games of our season, where would you have them?
You know, it's actually tough because I'd love to say A plus, but I hedge on that. I would probably go A minus.
Okay, so you're putting your grade really based off of expectations going into the season. We're
Yes.
outperforming expectations. Um, Now, if you look at it, obviously you're a bubble team. Your grade's a C. You're an average team. But Buffalo wasn't supposed to be an average team yet.
No.
To see improvements, but I think we've seen a lot of improvements. Half of our losses this season came in one stretch.
Yeah. The 8 games now.
Exactly half of them. You get rid of that 10-game stretch. Buffalo, yeah, I'm still not saying that they're in the playoffs, but we're 4 points behind. It's likely.
Yeah. I mean, we if we were even 500 point percentage through that stretch, or even slightly below that, we be probably taking a
Currently
run at
in.
Tampa Bay.
Yeah, we currently be in.
And and
Yeah,
and we.
close. Yeah, we'd be up there with Tampa. Um,
Mhm.
our goals for, we're not first in the league anymore. But
Man, we played less games.
um, we're we're 6 goals behind Boston. Boston has one more game.
Oh, okay. Fair, fair.
Um, and we're only one ahead of Florida, but Florida has 3 more games. Either way, our offense is looking good.
It is. I mean, look, Boston's doing whatever the hell they're doing this year. They're in a whole nother level right now. But
Yeah, I
the
can't
fact
wait for
that,
them to get swept in the first round. Fuck
right?
those fuckers.
But I mean, Buffalo, arguably, and I don't know if it's much of even an argument at this point, has the best offense in the league.
It's been really good. Um, our goals against need some improvement yet, but
Yeah, and
we're
that's
not
why they
just
don't get the A plus.
we're not just the youngest team in the league. It really shows on our defensive end. We really only have one veteran when you're looking at Dolly and going, he's the second oldest. There's some issues that could be addressed. Um, I still like to see them addressed for next season just to get some veteran leadership back there, even in a bottom pairing uh, way. Like, I'm not looking to bring in a game changer to put into our top 4. That's a veteran leadership. I'm happy with the core that we have. get them the games played, but I also want them to, learn the correct way to get there.
100% agreed. I've been saying for a while, you and I, when we talk, I've been, even this year, I'd like to make a small move for a bottom pairing defenseman, or even a seventh defenseman that's been there a while. Someone like a Luke Shen, I think, is a great Stanley Cup winner. Would be a great fit in Buffalo for this year. Because I think that's what Buffalo needs right now. But otherwise, I mean, it's hard to, that's a bit nitpicky right now considering what Buffalo's been. But
well, you say something that they need. Are they going to be making moves here before the deadline?
I think they make a small move. It's not going to be anything substantial.
I'm okay if they make nothing.
Yeah, I that's where I lean. I think they make nothing. I don't think they make nothing. I don't think they make nothing, but I think they make a very small move for either a bottom six forward or a bottom pairing defenseman.
So you think if they do make a move, it's still going to be a move via addition?
Yeah.
I think it's possible that they make a move to get rid of somebody to bring in more assets yet. There's a couple guys in there that I'm looking at that I think are possibilities. One, it's going to be whatever it is. I have nothing against Jacob Bryson, but if he gets moved, I'm not heartbroken over it. I wish the guy the best moving forward, but he's one of the names that I think has potential to be moved to bring in more assets. Another guy is going to be very rough for me if we get rid of him. Zemgus Girgensons.
That would be a tough one to swallow for me as well. I don't want to see him. I know he's not expiring. I know he's pushing 30. He doesn't really fit in with the young guys in that respect. But we need a Girgensons on that fourth line.
I don't disagree with that, and really what puts that in there is we don't have him signed to an extension yet. And he's the type of player, there's going to be a lot of playoff teams that want Zemgus Girgensons for a run. While I'm not saying, I think it's going to happen, those are the two players that I could see, but I don't think we're going to make any moves.
Yeah, I don't see much going on. I'm not comfortable saying nothing because that just doesn't feel right, but if it's nothing, I'd be okay with that.
Okay, well, we got sidelined there for a little bit to talk about moves. We talked offense, we talked defense. How's the goaltending been?
Well, our big free agent signing has been a disaster.
Whew, yeah. Eric.
But we'll talk about grades in a minute.
Yeah, Eric Comrie is.
Yowza.
I'm not excited when I see him in the lineup.
No.
UPL, he's playing really well. I think he's progressing well. He's not a player that is. He gives up some bad goals. He's young. 23.
Yeah.
He's 23. He's the starter in Buffalo at this point.
Yeah.
At 23, you shouldn't be. So for him to let up some bad goals, as long as they're not a lot of bad goals and he doesn't make up for it, but he does make up for it. He plays really well. I think his save percentage is going to continue to grow in the last 32 games of the season.
And we have to be honest. We talked about how the defense has been lacking for Buffalo. It's not like he's been hung out to dry a lot.
Oh man, he's facing like 8 breakaways a game.
Yeah, and so I mean, it's not all UPL's fault. He's played I agree with you. He's played well. He's landed some rough goals, he should be the starter now. Although we're seeing a bit of a shift in that mentality in the NHL lately, where younger guys are stepping in earlier and earlier.
At goalie, though.
No, it really is. I mean, you think it's starting. Someone like Binnington started early. Matt Murray was young.
Yeah, let's talk Jordan Binnington in the positive light.
No, but I mean, he won a Stanley Cup. He was awesome during that run. That's not. He's a piece of shit, but he was awesome in that run. Stuart Skinner up in Edmonton's 24. He's starting. Who's the guy? Spencer Knight down in Florida. We're seeing I'm not saying a huge shift, but we're seeing a bit more where teams are going to younger goaltenders. So this is starting to become a bit more normal compared to what it was 10, 15, 20 years ago.
Spencer Knight's like the outlier, and he's still, I think well behind Bobrovsky in games, isn't he?
Probably, but they were paying that guy $10 million, so they have to kind of play.
Okay. And then you brought up Stuart Skinner. Like, what other options are there in Edmonton?
Well, you just signed a guy you're supposed to have your guy in Jack Campbell, and that's a disaster.
Yeah. So they didn't say, hey, Stuart Skinner's our guy. They brought in somebody else, and he's not working out at all. So it's not that it was by design for that. And I'm not going to get on Bennington at all because that just sends me into a rage.
No, but the point is that they're willing to go to these younger guys earlier when they need to, more so than they have in the past.
I think almost that's like they don't have a choice almost. I think they're still
Yeah, but that's the point, is they're not going to get an older guy that is ready to play. They're like, all right, let's put the young guy in, see what we can do. That's my point is we're seeing more. I mean, that same thing that happened in Buffalo. They weren't going to play UPL. They had to play UPL. And we're seeing more and more of these younger guys step up. Vita Vanacek, I know he's 27, but he's played for a couple years. Really came in his own this year. Ilya Samsonov up with the Islanders has been outstanding. The younger guys are playing more. They're not Samsonov. Or Sorokin, sorry.
Yeah, but both of them are at the age where you should start getting that time. But you mentioned Buffalo. I mean, we still have Craig Anderson, which we haven't talked about Craig Anderson yet. He's outstanding. He's playing outstanding. He's playing outside of the injuries and the missed time. When he's in, he's playing like he's 30.
Yeah, he's played really, really well.
But our game plan going in was still Craig Anderson, and then we're like, hey, we have to get somebody else to bring in, and we brought in Eric Comrie. So we're still not going and saying, hey, it's time for UPL. It's a matter of necessity.
I agree with that, but my point, it's ultimately some ass at this point, but the reality is more teams are willing to go that route when they have to, not necessarily. I mean, got a lot of young guys starting now, comparatively speaking.
But that's the goaltending. That's the team. Outstanding. Let's get into some individuals. Yeah, I saw him over there checking out Donnie.
Yeah, he's
Samurai Donnie.
He's checked out Samurai Donnie, and now he's probably going to break another one of my statues. My dragons.
I can't see the top shelf, so.
It's not up there, but somehow he broke one a fin off one of my dragon statues in the back there. I noticed it like an hour ago. I'm like, how the fuck did you do that? He loves that top. Anyway, sorry, I'm getting distracted by cats.
All right, so the meat of today. Let's go ahead and grade every player here. All of our starters. A couple of players that we left off. We went with an even 20. We went with Comrie and UPL. Craig Anderson's not going to get a grade from us. And Cale Clegg, who I thought has played really well while he's in. He's not in what I would consider our starting 20 either.
Fair, yeah. He's more of a seventh defenseman at this point.
But if we have to move Bryson, I think Clegg is more than capable of stepping in.
I agree.
So we are going to go with our players. We're going to be moving from left to right. We're going to start with our backup goalie, moving on to our third pairing defense, fourth line, third line, second pairing defense, second line, starter, first pairing defense, and first line.
Indeed we are.
Now, we've been talking about how do we want to do our grading, and what we've ended up on is I have my grade already. You do not.
Correct.
So we're going to discuss the players. If they need more discussion, you're going to give your grade without knowing what I have given. Then we will take an average of the grades, and that's going to be your factual result.
Hell yeah, it's going to be. Boom. Completely factual, not at all subjective.
First up, we've already dissed him a bit. How about some more? Eric Comrie. The only note I have on him is he has been scary bad at times.
He has been just awful when he's played, and I know he's been suffering through an injury. I mean,
he's had a couple good games. He's had some games where he's kept us in it, but he's also let on some really bad ones that I think we could have a couple more W's otherwise.
Yeah, I agree. I'm sorry. Based off his contract, now he came in with a lot of hype. Where was he at Winnipeg last year, and everyone was kind of like, oh, he played so well in Halibuck's Steed or whatever. I have him at F.
Okay, well, let me give you this here. He has played 13 games.
Mm-hmm.
Buchanan's played 21.
Mm-hmm.
An 88.4 save percentage to an 89.9, and a 354 to a 3.3. So not substantially worse. But you're happy with the F?
Yeah, the stats say one thing, and I'm typically the stats guy, which is a bit ironic here. But if you watch the two play, UPL's played substantially better. And Comrie, I'm sure, was a victim of some of the bad D too. But man, he's not. Very, very rarely. And what he signed for, he's an F for me.
Well, our tiebreaker is so when we take the average, and it ends up, because we are looking at A plus A, B plus B. We don't have the minuses to take into account. The tiebreakers we're rounding down.
Mm-hmm.
I gave him a D, which the only saving grace there was if I went D plus, he would have had a D. I went with a D. You gave him an F. He's an F.
Okay.
Why can't I find him on here?
Number 31.
There he is. Okay, Jacob Bryson, mentioned him as the one of two players I could see being moved. Not looking forward to it. He has 1 goal, 7 assists for 8 points in 42 games. The big standout for me is that minus 17 is worst on the team, and
not by a little bit. You have Middlestat at 13, and then there's no one near them two right now.
Oh yeah, near those two, but Middlestat's in the ballpark of him,
Yeah.
and 20 hits. So I mean, he's not. I think his puck movement has been really good at times. Not too horribly consistent with that. He has a lot of defensive laps. He's also playing over 17 and a half minutes per game, though.
He is. I agree with all that. That minus 17 sticks out like a sore thumb for me, though. Like you mentioned before, and if you're gonna have a minus 17, I want a little bit more in the offensive side then. And he just hasn't got there. I'm not going F. For being a young kid, and getting the 17 and a half minutes, I'm willing to go D plus.
That's where I had him as well. Jacob Bryson, you are a D plus.
What are you doing, buddy?
Ilya Lyubushkin, 8 assists, so he's equaled that 8-point total in 36 games. Over 3 minutes less per game. 62 hits, though.
62, yeah.
One of the biggest things for me, though, is you've noticed in those games that he's missed, you've noticed a presence not there.
Mm-hmm.
So while he has missed a lot of games, his ice time is not great. He's, for Buffalo standards, he's hitting everyone.
This is not a hitting team.
So where do you have Lyubushkin given that?
You mentioned it when you notice he's not out there. He's not necessarily a big offensive guy, but he still has 8 assists in 36 games. That's not bad for what he is. He's had 62 hits. He's got 32 penalty minutes as well. I have him at a C+ right now. I thought he's played really well when he's been in the lineup.
Okay, I put him at a C, so that's where he's going to finish up. I think he's... Now, when I say he's average in the league, that's not an insult. That's actually a good compliment to have somebody at a C. An average NHL player is a good NHL player.
Especially that young.
Lyubushkin?
Is he young?
No, he's our veteran.
Oh, he's 28. Gotcha.
See?
My bad.
He's like retirement age for us. Zemgus Girgensons.
Oh, Zemgus.
In 48 games played, he has 5 goals, 6 assists, 11 points. He is a -2 on that fourth line, playing 12.5 minutes per game, 54 hits, and wearing the A.
Yeah, alternate captain Girgensons. In the games that I've watched, which I think this year, and this is going to be the tough part when you decide to re-sign him or potentially trade him, I haven't noticed him as much as in years past. He doesn't seem to be as there for me. And I obviously understand that this team is a lot different than years past, so that's both a good and a bad thing. I don't think he's played bad, but I don't think he's played up to what we expect. Again, I know he's fourth line duties, and that's always a tough assignment in general. But he is our A, and I've always appreciated Girgensons, but
he's really hard to play against.
Oh yeah,
he has shown flashes of great skill this year. He's showing those flashes. My biggest thing with him isn't even necessarily him. I've wanted to see him get a lot more ice time. I wanted to see him get upwards of 15, 16 minutes for an average night. I think he's there, especially with this younger team. I think popping him up, like we have 2 rookies on with a 22-year-old anchoring him. I think it's been there for him to get ice time. And I don't think it's his play the reason that he's not. But where do you have him?
I have old Gurgi at where are you at? I have him about C+ range. I think he's been fine.
Girgensons C+ for me as well. So 28 up into the C+. We have yet to have a player repeat a grade. See if that continues here with Peyton Krebs in 42 games, 6 goals, 7 assists, 13 points, a -1, 48 hits, and he weighs a $110. And that same amount of ice time as Girgensons, a little bit more, just under 13 minutes per game. One thing that I did not mention with Girgensons was his face-off totals, but he has taken half as many face-offs as Krebs. 44.5% on that fourth line face-off percentage.
Yeah, that's a problem. But of course, with the Buffalo Sabres, face-offs is a gigantic problem for them anyway.
Wait till you hear all of them. It's a shocking
But
thing.
that is a problem, especially on the fourth line, because the one thing with the fourth line that I would want is to make sure I had a really, really good face-off guy in that circle. Last year, Buffalo had Cody Eakin. He was really good at face-offs, but he really wasn't good at anything else. So they understandably didn't resign him.
Um,
But
well, I want a good face-off guy everywhere. If he's getting that fourth line, I still have him out there taking key face-offs, and that's what he's out there
yes,
for. So I'm not looking for it like, oh, my fourth line guy's got to be my face-off guy. I'd like it to be your second or third line guy as like your go-to guy,
no,
but
no, but I don't want to see my fourth line losing a bunch of face-offs either.
no.
That's a bit of a problem.
They have to go out. What I want from my fourth line is they have to go out. They have to have a presence. They have to create energy. They don't have to create a lot of offense. They just have to knock the other team out of their game, create momentum for your top guys. Just they have to be high energy guys. And that's something Krebs has actually done because he's been in a couple fights this season at a buck
Yes,
10. He
yes,
plays
he
a
is.
lot bigger than he is. However, he is a skill guy, and I think he's been struggling catching up with the speed of the NHL when he's had the puck on his stick.
100% agree. That was going to be my next point. If it wasn't for Alex Tuck going bananas in Buffalo, people would be talking about it's kind of hidden Krebs a bit, and how it's kind of disappointing he has been
Well,
so far.
he's still like we have a
He's
very
still
young
young.
team. We're going to mention that 100 more times in this
Yeah,
video. Um, Krebs, I didn't see Krebs playing this year yet, let alone 42 games this year.
mm-hmm. Agreed. And it's kind of shown that he may not have been fully right, but to his credit, he's done other things to try and balance that out a bit, especially being on the fourth line, which I'm not always the biggest fan of someone like that being on the fourth line. I don't know if that's really great for development, but that's a here or there type of situation.
But to defend that, he's playing between Gergensons and Akpo, so you cannot have two better mentors.
I do agree with that. So the circumstances are different there. Um, I think overall, I want to see more from him. I have him about a C.
Okay, well, he is getting dropped down. I had him at a D plus.
All right.
Hayden Krebs joining Jacob Bryson. Kyle Okposo rounding out our fourth line. 43 games played. The fourth line really kind of splits the face-offs up fairly even. Krebs does take quite a bit more than the other two, but 44.3, so almost exactly the same as Krebs, a little bit behind him. Both of them were behind Gergensons, but 7 goals, 13 assists, 20 points from your fourth line guy here. He's a +5. He's averaging just under 15 minutes a game, 48 hits. I have nothing bad to say about our captain. He's having a good year.
Yeah, I mean, what 20 goals last year. I don't think he's gonna get to 20 this year, but he definitely has an outside shot at it. You have a fourth line guy that's near half a point per game. He's your captain. He's been playing really well. I got nothing bad about to say. I'm gonna knock him a grade because his contract's still a bit with albatross until after this year, but that's not really his fault. I would take it too. I have him at B.
Exactly where I had my captain. Having a B year. Good year for Kyle.
Now, if there's one guy I want to definitely see re-signed, he is definitely one of them, though.
Yeah. Yeah, and from what I hear, talks with him are that he's really happy with where he's at with the team. He's real happy with where the team's going, and I think we might.
I think we have a great chance.
Now we are jumping up to our third line. First up, left wing side, KC Middlefat. 7 goals, 21 assists for 28 points. but he's a minus 13. That 21 assists, maybe that's being helped a bit by Olsen's 23 fucking goals. But 28 points is outstanding there for our third line guy. Minus 13, I do not like. He has taken the third most faceoffs on the team, 47.2%. Fuck me. He has played in all 50 games, averaging 15 and a half minutes per game.
Pure skill guy, obviously. Really good passer of the puck. 20, like you said, 21 assists. At minus 13 is bad, but you're not playing Middlestat for his defense. Admittedly, I think he's a fun little cherry if Buffalo wants to make a big trade at the end of after the season's over. If they want to try to bring in a bigger name guy, I think he might be a fun addition to some trades.
I think if they're trying to add a piece, Casey Middlestat has got to be a chip in that. But I don't think we're looking to make a big move right now.
No, I'm talking after
the season.
Yeah, I'm talking after the season. I almost said trade deadline. I meant after the season, because I think ultimately when it's all said and done with all the contracts, I think he ends up being the odd man out anyway. So, because I don't know. He's not great in faceoffs, but again, that's par for the course for Buffalo this year. He's not a great hitter. He's not going to do a lot defensively. He's really good. He's a big skill guy. He has definitely shown some flashes this year, excellent flashes. But I can't get past that minus 13.
I can't get past how often he just disappears from the games. He's played in all 50. I would have guessed he's played in 25, 30. You know.
Yeah. So I have him at a D+.
Spot on.
Where are you at, middle? There you're at.
Middle fat, D+ with Bryson and Krebs. The D+ is getting crowded no other place. This team is doing good, right?
Yeah. It's got some issues.
Is Tyson Jost one of those issues? 4 goals, 8 assists, 12 points, minus 2. He's taken half the amount of faceoffs that Middlestat has taken, 265 of them, 36.2%. He's played in 32 games thus far. He was brought in off of waivers. He plays really hard. Again, off of waivers. It was a free player for us. 29 hits. He's been nice. I think, especially for a guy that would get off of waivers, I think he's just slightly below what you would want from your NHL third liner. So,
yeah, I mean, I'd like to see the face-off number go up a little bit because he did take a bunch when he first got here, and then that's a bad number next to his name. You can't say a whole lot negative with that. -2, and he's played with a -13 and a -8 half the time. So he's definitely done what he needed to do. He's a good penalty killer. I like him. I like him a lot. I agree with you. I have him actually at C+.
All right, that would put him at an average of a C. I had him at a D+.
Our first one, we were a little ways off.
Yep, that's the furthest we've been off so far. But 17 in the C category with Livingston. And then on the right side, we have Victor Olofsson. 23 goals. He's 26th in the league in goals. We've played fewer games than most teams. Mm-hmm. He's on our third line.
We have a pretty solid top 2 line.
He plays under 15 minutes a game. He has 23 goals already. That's a half a goal, not half a point. Of course, his assist total doesn't really add to his point total that much. He has 6. half a goal per game average. Complaint with Victor Olofsson, he's a one-trick pony. That's all he does. But that one trick he does, he's elite.
And you know what? You need a guy like Victor Olofsson on your team. I mean, it's not. I mean, it's a bit of a luxury, but he is excellent on the power play. With that shot, he's a hell of a goal scorer. Again, 23 goals. He's well on his way to 30 plus. And an outside shot if at 40 even if
I don't
things
even,
go out.
Again, he's at a half a game.
Yeah.
It's not an outside. He's almost exactly on pace for a 40-goal season on the third line.
Yeah, I mean it's impressive, but on that same token, the why he's on the third line, like you say, he's a pure one-trick pony. He's pretty decent at the forecheck as well. I think he's played better this year than he has in years past on the defensive side. Although he's a -8, which is not good. I give him credit. I have him as C+.
Spot on, C+. So he's joining Zemgus in the C+ category there. And then on to our second pairing, defense. Left side first. Some bum named Owen Power. He's played in 47 games this year. He's averaging 23.5 minutes per game already. He has 3 goals, 16 assists. He's a plus 12. He's 20. Did you know that? He's 20 years old.
He is a young fucking dude.
He's getting better every game.
Remember that first game, how horrible he looked?
Oh, man, I was ready to throw him out. No, I'm not, because I'm never... But, yeah, he looked bad. He's getting better every game. If the Calder ended today, I'd have him in my top 5 voting. Barely, I have him at 5. But I think he's going to continue to get better as the season progresses here. He's shown it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's big. He's fast for his height.
He's big. He only has 19 hits this season.
Yeah, he's not a hitter for being. He's kind of like Tyler Myers when he was in a lot of ways. Tyler Myers wasn't a hitter either. I mean, in that respect, I'm saying. No, not comparing him completely.
I think he needs to fill out yet. He's still
he's young
20.
as fuck.
If I can bring out my Craig Rivet, he still hasn't gotten his man muscles on yet. He's still got little kid muscles. We still need him to get his man muscles on. So that's another part of his game that will continue to get better. But we're not grading him next year.
We are grading him this year, honestly.
This year, where do you have him?
He's played well. I think he's met my expectations. He's gotten better, like you said, gotten better all the time. After a bit of a slow start, he's been putting up points. He's great in the offensive zone. He's getting better defensively. He's had a few power play points even. I got him at B+.
That's where I have him. Dude's gonna be a terror, man.
Mm-hmm. Remember, there was some question, not a lot, but there was some when he went number 1. I remember there was some debate with some people about that. And I'm like, I don't think there should be.
No, there shouldn't have been. I thought it was pretty unanimous that he was going to be going number 1.
Yeah, you know how it goes. Like you get to the draft, and I was like, "What about this guy?" I don't even remember who was number 2 at the time. I'm sure it was someone good, but that's not the point.
Okay,
anyway.
So we're going into the off season here. Owen Power has 1 year left on his entry. 1. I'm re-signing him before the season starts. Or not, I'm extending him. I don't want him to get another year under his belt to where we have to now have another defenseman that's making $10 million. I'm locking him up. I'm going through and I'm like, oh, in 8 years, $8 million. What do you say, bud? If we go to 8.5, I'm okay with that.
I can't. I would be surprised if he didn't take that. Even if his agents realize what the play is with that, that's still a good contract for both sides. But there is still that slight bit of unknown. Like it could, if it goes poorly, it goes poorly quickly. But it's not gonna go poorly.
Yoki Haru, defensive partner over on the right side. 1 goal, 6 assists, 7 points. He's a +2, averaging 21 minutes per game in only 28 games. So 26 hits in those 28 games, which is almost a hit per game. And goddamn, for Buffalo,
that's pretty good.
But you remember when we got Yogi Haru? Wasn't he supposed to be like quite solid defensively, but his upside was his offense? Where has that gone? He has been above average in the defensive zone. I'm not going to say he's a shutdown machine by any stretch. He's been above average. He has not shown any offensive capabilities this season.
No, and on this team, I mean, he would be on pace. 7-28, 14-56. So he's looking at a 20-point season if he played the whole season. But injuries have taken a toll this year, which is not something you want to see. Playing in just over half. I agree. I think his offense has lacked, but he's made up for it with defensively when he's been in the lineup. That's been hit and miss. And that's, we got to judge everything on this season. I don't have him very high. I'd like to see more from him. I have him at a D.
Oh, I had him at a C. That puts him at a D+. For only the second time we had to split. Yoki Haru, D+ there with Middle Fat, Krebs, and Bryson. How's some second line duty?
Huh?
So
what?
How about some second line?
Some second line. Yes, we do have second line guys, don't we? I'm trying to remember who plays the left. I don't remember who plays the left side. That's why I'm kind of like.
For shame, JJ Peterka.
Peterka's the left wing. I couldn't remember if it was between him and Quinn. I couldn't remember who the fucking left and right was.
7 goals for the rookie, 12 assists, 19 points for the rookie. I'm going to say that again. 19 points for the rookie. And I'm also cheating ahead a little bit. I didn't mean to, but I have to make a correction because I have Dylan Cousins currently with 94 points.
Jesus.
He's not quite up there with Connor McDavid.
not quite.
So, by the way, I think McDavid's at that, isn't he?
Way too close.
7 and 6 is 13, 40. Okay, so Peterka with 19 points in 48 games so far in his rookie season. He's a -2. He has 15 hits, which is the downfall for me with JJ Peterka because he's got a good physical game. He has just not shown it at the NHL level yet. He's starting to pick up. He's a little bit with that. I'm hoping here in the rest of the season he starts getting more of that game back to him. And for a rookie, he's above average in points. He needs more seasoning.
Yeah, he needs more seasoning, and he's getting asked a lot, and he's playing on the second line with the best offense in the league. It's saying something. He's a great passer. I've seen him make some incredible passes this year. I've also seen him make some incredibly boneheaded plays on the defensive side.
Now, I also need to put into perspective here. He's on the second line. He is averaging slightly less time on ice per game than all of our third liners.
I'm sure. So
I mean, we're numbering them, but I know a lot of teams. Oh, we don't have a first line, second line, or third line. I don't like that. I don't know. I don't know whose feelings you're trying to save there. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But he's our second line guy. Where do you have Matt?
I've liked Paterka this year. I think he's played well overall. I do agree with you on the physical side of it. I'd like to see more there. He's our only player above 50% faceoff, so go for him. I'm sure it's only like 3 or 4, but
Yeah, I think it's 2.
2. But you know what? Good for him. I have him at a C plus. I think he's played well. That he's being asked a lot.
Spot on. JJ Paterka, C plus. And then we're looking at the veteran leadership on the second line with Dylan Cousins, our veteran prospect. In 49 games, 17 goals. So, yeah, he's behind Olsen a bit. 26 assists. That's an ass whooping. 43 points in 49 games.
And how many goals did he just miss early on when he was ripping them off the post?
50.
I mean, this dude could have 30 goals already if he would have had a little better luck early on.
He has taken more faceoffs than anybody else on the team with 708. He has won 49.4, which is the best faceoff percentage on the team. But he's 22. I'm hoping that gets better too.
I'm okay with a for all intents and purposes a 50-50 guide. Yes, I'd like to see it get better too, but I'm okay with that, especially.
Well, you can't complain about it. But when it's leading the way, you can.
Yeah, well, I mean that's problems everywhere. If he was like third on the team with 49 or second on the team with 49, I'd be like, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna knock him for that.
But 43 points, 49 games. He's playing with 2 rookies. He's ahead of schedule for his development. Dude's going to be trouble. He's going to get better. I still think he needs to put on. How lightweight is he? I think he needs to put on 20 to 25 pounds yet. I'd like to see him get up to that 215, 220, 225. I think 220 is probably a really good range for him, which would be 25 pounds that he needs to pack on yet and really round out that fucking man muscle. Get some man meat. But yeah, he's going to be trouble. He just signed an extension with Buffalo, just over $7 million per year, which is right where I thought we would sign him because I was expecting an extension. I wasn't expecting one right away. But fuck, I take it. It was the dollar amount that I was expecting for it at 7 years. It's nice to have him wrapped up there. What do you give him this season?
I'll be frank. I have nothing negative to say. What he's done this year with who he's played with the expectations that were put on with everything combined. He's A+ for me.
Oh. You got him at an A+. That would give him an average of an A because we split. I had him at a B+.
Okay. I'm okay with that.
Dylan Cousins leading the pack so far is our first grade A player. Then off to the right wing side with the mighty Quinn. 8 goals, 12 assists, 20 points. That's 1 point, 1 goal higher than Paterka over on the other side in fewer games, 43 games played. Again, I don't have much different to say about Paterka. Paterka, I talked about his physicality needs to be brought out more because, that's the type of player he is. Quinn's not that type of player. I don't have that note for him. He's above average for rookie points. He needs more seasoning. What do you have him at?
Yeah, I 100% agree. 20 points in 43 games is pretty good. He's on the plus side of the ledger for plus minus. Can't ask for much more. And he's, again, playing on the kid line on that as a second line guy. That's incredible. Usually a kid line would be a third or maybe even a fourth. But I'll put him above Paterka. I got him in the B.
I did not have them. I did not split them. So
Right.
that gets rounded to C plus there with Paterka.
Okay.
Starting goaltender in 21 games played and 89.9 save percentage, which again I anticipate to go up in the rest of the games played here. 330 GAA. I'm hoping it goes down. I'm really happy with his gameplay. Again, we talked about him earlier. I don't know if I have more to say than what we've already discussed
Yeah.
with UPL. My big takeaway from this season is he has played well enough to shut people up, to stop talking about trading him. I'm not hearing as much talk about our next goaltender being guys who are younger than UPL, like UPL's fucking 40 himself already, and he's never going to get. That talk has gone down tremendously. I could not be much happier with UPL's play this year.
Yeah, I agree. I have nothing more to add to what you said. As far as letter grade goes, I'm up and down a bit for some pretty soft goals, but I have him at B plus.
I have him at a B, so it gets rounded down to that. So UPL joining our captain at the B.
Oh, captain, my captain.
And we get into our first pairing, defense. What Samuelson do we have up first?
We have Matthias Samuelson. I almost said Michael. I'm like, that's not right.
I hear Samuelson. Wolf Samuelson's still the first guy that I think of, but I'm hoping that changes here. Dude, Matty, fucking hell, dude. 1 goal, 4 assists, 5 points. On a first pairing defense, he's a plus 10. He's averaging 22 minutes per game. He's another guy that has missed some time. He's only played 35 out of the 50 games. 63 hits, is second on the team to his partner Darlene in 15 fewer games. Basically, he's the leading hitter on the team.
Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you what was the, when he went down with his initial injury, his first injury early on when he missed some time.
As did the Sabres.
That coincided. I mean, it was like a couple games before, but it was coincided with the 8 games. And with already a bad defense, when he misses time, you can really see it. And I think he missed the Carolina game right before the break, too. And you saw what happened. But Carolina's a beast, a juggernaut.
Yeah,
yeah. So you can't count that. But when he's in the lineup, this team is... He allows Darlene to do Darlene things without
Dude, this is exactly what I have in my note here. Let's Darlene do Darlene things.
Nice. He lets that first line just, they could take the chances that they could take because he's going to be back there. He's a hell of a defenseman. He's another guy we signed long term early, and a lot of people kind of scratch their head like he's only played like 30 games. It was a good contract. It's going to be a good contract for going forward. I'm gonna knock him for some injuries and for some time away, but I have him B plus.
Oh, that means he gets knocked down to that B plus. I had him as my first A player.
Ah, damn. Fair.
So Samuelson and Power, our top 2 left defensemen, both having B plus seasons. That leaves us to some other guy. I don't know if we have any fans of him or not. Zunk, what shirt are you wearing?
I am wearing a Rasmus Dahlin.
He has 55 points in 49 games. He's a defenseman. 55 points in 49 games. 41 assists, 14 goals already.
Set the all-time record for goals to start a season for number of games or whatever it was.
I think roughly 49 games. I don't know.
Oh shit.
He is currently leading, not per game, but leading the team in hits. This dude is upper echelon. He is a world destroyer.
Yeah. He has shown everyone why he was the number 1 overall pick. And NHL, how the fuck did he not get into the All-Star game right away? The fuck is wrong with you idiots?
You had to wait for an injury to get a guy who's easily a top 2 Norris. I'm going to argue 1 because the team is doing substantially better. Now, I know Erik Karlsson's like doing stupid shit offensively because Dowling has 55 and 49. He's a ways behind.
Yeah.
Erik
Karlsson's doing
like
a terrible team.
Stupid. But yeah, Erik Karlsson's on a terrible team. Dowling is elevating this team. What do you have him at?
A+.
A+. Easy.
It's not even a question. And he's got 64 penalty minutes.
Yeah, he has shown a lot of grit this season. Like, there have been times where he's just like, fuck you. Gets pissed off and bitch slaps somebody.
Mm-hmm. Remember that hit early on that he laid? Oh,
it's
man.
One of the best hits this season. Clean hip check. You haven't seen a hip check like that in a long damn time.
No, you haven't.
On to our top line for the best offense in the league. Left side, over $9 million a year. Jeff Skinner.
He's almost played well enough now to justify that contract, at least for 1 year.
Again,
actually for 2.
Right there in my notes. Bam, earning his contract this season. I also want to talk about his plus minus. You look at his rookie season, he was a plus. Then he was a minus, a minus, a minus, a minus, a minus, an even, a minus, a minus, a minus. Now he's a plus 19. He's doing things this year he's never done in his career. He has 20 goals, 30 assists, 50 points in 47 games. Taking some face-offs because we'll talk about that in a minute. 47.4%, which is second on the team in face-off percentage. What else you got on Jeff Skinner?
Not much more than you say. I'll just say his game has evolved at a point in his career where you wouldn't expect it to.
Yeah.
You'd think he'd be like the rich man's Olofsson, which is what he's kind of been throughout his career. A big goal scorer, not much else. This year, like you said, 30 assists already. And, he's been a playmaker this year. He hasn't been just a scorer offensively. And he still has 20 goals. Let's not discount the fact he still has 20 goals already. I don't have a lot of negative at all. I'm trying to find a reason not to put him at A+, but that's where I have him.
Well, then he falls at an A, because that's twice you've put in a guy at an A+, and I've had him at a B+. He falls right in there. Skinner and Cousins side by side. Same grading. Then we have a front runner for the MVP talk currently. Somebody really putting the league on notice. Somebody who gets mentioned by name by Austin Matthews, one of the elite superstars in the league, who's the most underrated player in the league right now. Tage Thompson, without hesitation, 34 goals, 34 assists, 68 points. He's a plus 15. He's played all 50 games, averaging 19 minutes per game. He is 6'6" center. He needs improvement in the defensive zone. He has 24 hits. He's 6'6". His face-off percentage, he has taken 576 faceoffs. His percentage is 41.8. It hurts a tremendous amount. If he weren't taking that many faceoffs, or he was taking them in the correct zones because he's getting the ice on because they're in the offensive zone all the damn time, it's a little bit different. You can give some leeway for that. It's bad. What else you got on him?
You hit on a lot, and even with the bad defensive, the down defensive play and the bad faceoffs, he's
yeah. It's not bad. It's just not like.
Yeah, we're nitpicking, admittedly, but no, he's got 68 points. He answered a lot of questions. Remember another guy that got signed to a big contract? I think we both were like, it's gonna be interesting coming forward. Now he's just like, oh yeah, that's gonna be a fucking steal of a contract at this point. He's just been absolutely incredible in so many ways. I'm going to knock him to an A because of the face-off situation, but I'm not going lower than that.
Yeah, I had two players at an A, one at an A+, and Tage Thompson was my A. Along with Samuelson, who's down, or Samuelson. But Thompson makes three players with an A?
A.
And finally, we have Tuck. Alex Tuck. 24 goals, 31 assists, 55 points in 50 games. Fuck you, Eichel. 34 hits. He's playing tough. He's enjoying his time because he's a Buffalo guy. Buffalo fan growing up, playing for Buffalo. This is a name I hear far not enough. This guy is by more than anyone on the Sabres, which is always something because Buffalo's never the talk of the town. Alex Tuck is quietly having a damn near elite season.
Yeah, look, the Eichel trade in general changed the Buffalo Sabres, and I remember when we were talking
all for the good.
Yeah, for the good. And you and I talked even before he's traded, like. And I made the comment last year when they were about to trade him. I said, once he's gone, this team's going to be better just because of the subtraction. And then you get a guy like Alex Tuck on top of that. I don't even care what the rest of the pieces are. Buffalo won that trade. They did. I mean, you see it now. Jack Eichel, he's hell of an offensive talent, but
even without Tuck, and again, he's responsible for a good amount of this team's winning. Even without Tuck, and you're just like, oh, Buffalo traded Eichel away for a Kit Kat bar. We're a better team because of it. Mm-hmm. We won the trade.
Yeah, and he has been instrumental in unlocking that next tier for Thompson, unlocking Dahlin's potential, unlocking Skinner's new. He's been just. Look, I thought he was going to get the captaincy when it was up for grabs. Obviously, I'm okay with Okposo getting it, but that was the guy I thought was going to go to. That's the guy that's going to go to in the future for as long as he's a Buffalo State. I think he's the guy. I think he's the guy. I know Dahlin's got an argument. I know Tage has got an argument.
I think Dahlin's going to have a lot to say about it. I think Cousins is going to have a lot to say about it. I think Owen Power is going to have a lot to say about it.
There's a lot of guys.
I think he's in contention. I'm just not going, I think he's our future captain because we have too many guys that are
we do.
Hello?
we do. We absolutely do. I do agree with that. But Tuck has been a game changer for Buffalo. I mean, this team, I don't have the exact stats in front of me for since he came over, but I gotta imagine that Buffalo's win percentage point percentage, if you will, is over 500 since he's been there, because it was a night and day difference. As soon as he got to Buffalo, night and day how much better Buffalo was. And, obviously getting rid of Michael's a big part of that, but Tuck is an incredible player. I don't even know how to grade him. I'm trying to grade him unbiasedly. He's a plus 10, not great. Doesn't have as many power play points as the other guys at 14. So I want to give him an A plus. I really do. Yeah, I'm gonna go A plus. Fuck it. He deserves
That is 3 players you have given an A plus to that I have given a B plus to. 3.
Jesus.
We have 4 players as an A. 3 of them I had lower than that. One of them I had at an A, and you brought it down.
That's crazy that we had that. I almost went A with him. Like A plus felt high. I was this close to going to A, but I'm such an Alex Tuck guy right now.
So you look at the Sabres, and you want to know where the players' official, factual grades are at. Rasmus Dahlin is an A plus through the first 50 games. Cousins, Skinner, Thompson, Tuck, A's. Power and Samuelson, B plus. Oh, captain, my captain, and UPL, B's. C pluses to Gergensons, Olsen, Paterka and Quinn, Labushkin and Jost, getting their jobs done as well. We'd like to see a little bit more from Bryson, Krebs, Middlestat, and Yoki Haru having D plus, and poor Eric Comrie. You failed.
You know what? There's still time for him to turn it around.
I don't think there's much time because I think most of the games are going to be going to UPL.
I agree. Hey, play well in your backup duties. Oh wait, that might go to Craig Anderson. Well, shit. Craig Anderson, who we didn't talk about, or we talked about a bit earlier, has a 918 save percentage this year in 17 games.
Now he's not officially on here. Where would you put Craig Anderson? At a 40, is he 42? 42-year-old goaltender. 41, okay. 41-year-old goaltender for the Buffalo Sabres. Where would you put his gameplay?
He's an A.
I had him at an A as well.
I mean, I don't know what more you could do to get an A plus. I guess maybe play more games and show it more. But I mean, he's 41. That's asking for a lot. But he's been incredible, and his style makes me nervous because when I watch him, like, but 273 JA with a 918 save percentage is just phenomenal. I get it's only 17 games, but again, we talked about Eric Comrie in just a few less games. He's been way more than Buffalo could ever hope for.
Yeah, outstanding, Craig. But now, I did the math here just on my rankings because, well, we didn't have yours, and we didn't differ too much, so these are still going to be fairly accurate. I gave points, and then this is golf scoring. You got 1 for an A plus, 2 for an A, 3 for a B plus, 4 for a B, and so on. This team averaged a B minus, 4.65. Now I went through. I said our A plus is going to be your top 3 teams. Your A's 4 through 7, B plus 8, 9, and 10, B's 11 through 14, C plus 15 through 17 in the standings. Buffalo finishes on here with these grades where they should be in the standings, somewhere in the 13 to 16 range. Where are they currently? 19. Not far off, but again, we take out those 10 games, they're jumping up, and we probably graded them too harshly because they're higher. So take into account both of those. I think that these grades are spot on with where the team is in the standings.
I agree. I think I was slightly more generous than you overall. If I would have to take a guess,
Yeah, you gave half the team A pluses.
I gave 3 guys A pluses, 4 guys A pluses.
4.
So I gave 1/5 of the team A plus. Thank you very much.
I gave 3 players A's. You gave. I guess you only gave 2 more than me.
Yeah. No, this team. There's a reason why, unlike most years in the last decade plus, where just even if they start fast, it didn't feel real. You knew it wasn't real. The potential that's simmering here is incredible. This team is going to be a force in the East for years to come, as they continue to mold and progress and mature. And if they get consistent third and fourth line contributions, and that defense gets even average, I mean, this team.
You want them to get average. You want the defense to get average. We have Dowling, Power, Samuelson in our top 4. They're all going to be
above average.
No, they're all going to be elite. We have 2 who are going to be battling out for the Norris Trophy every year.
Yeah. Well,
and you have Samuelson, who's never going to be in the Norris candidate, but he's already jumping up there. Like, he's showing flashes of. Now, I don't want to make a direct comparison to Jay McKee because he's not blocking shots like Jay McKee. Nobody blocks shots like Jay McKee. But that stay-at-home, tough, gritty defense that you have to have, that nobody throughout the league recognizes how great they are, he's that player. Yeah. He's making this team. There's so many players that would not be able to have the success without him playing the way he's been playing.
I 100% agree. It's been...
Which, by the way, is another player when we're talking about, I'm giving this seat a Tuck. And Samuelson's got some shit to say about it, too.
That's also true. I agree. To clarify just slightly, when I say defense, I don't necessarily mean the defensive core. I mean team defense as a whole. Because our forward group needs a lot of work on that end. They do. Now, part of that is the style of that. If you want the style of play that they play, you're going to have that, though. That's kind of the give and take to being the wide open, fast paced style they play. Is you're going to give up stuff on the back end. That's just the nature of that beast. But
you look at like what one player can do on each line. You're looking at Alex Tuck on that top line, and not only the opportunities he's creating, the space that he's giving the other 2 on the ice to create, but his defensive responsibility back there, it's flipping the ice, just that one player. On our second line, do we have a guy on the second line that can do that? Fuck yes, Dylan Cousins is outstanding. He's going to get better. Again, he's 25 pounds of man meat away from being elite in that area as well. The third line, I don't know what we're going to have in a couple years.
Yeah.
Middle fat, I don't know how much more time he has, if he's going to be part of the solution. We continue with him. Tyson Jost we have him at an average year, meaning you can pick up an average player and replace him with, And then who am I forgetting on that? Olofsson, I'd be happy if he stayed around. I don't think he's going to. I think he's going to garnish the most attention when we're looking for that next big piece to bring in. Olofsson's got to be a high name on there that we're going to have to get rid of, even though we don't necessarily want to.
Right. And, and the thing is, though, we can in a lot of ways, too, because we still have It's not like Buffalo's pipeline is bare. The minors and the prospects for Buffalo is still pretty good.
Yeah.
You talk about guys like Matt Savoy that hasn't even touched the NHL yet. That's just one of many, and there's some other guys whose names escape me that are like
Coolidge has been looking really good. We got Ostland, has some potential there. And all three of those may be pieces that we move to. And I mean, I know those are huge pieces to move up, but we are talking the difference between potential and NHL players. Now, when you can look at it and go, well, they have more potential, do we want to take a risk on more potential, or do we want the sure thing of a great NHL player? I think we're to the point where we can start looking at that going, no, we need the NHL talent on this team.
Yeah. And what that ends up being, I don't know, but, obviously we've already heard a bunch of rumors. Buffalo's been linked to people like Timo Meier, although I think that was overblown, honestly.
I do too. He's not coming to Buffalo. I like Timo Meier. The only way I can see that working for Buffalo is if we include Jeff Skinner. Yeah. But then if you're San Jose, why are you looking at it? Why would you move Timo Meier and bring in Jeff Skinner? What would be the point of doing that for them? I don't think it's a move that can happen.
No, I don't think it will either. And it'll be interesting to see where Buffalo goes with this, because ultimately, so let's because the way this team is, and let's say they make the playoffs, let's say they get the 8 or the 7 seed, one of the wild card spots. This isn't a team right now that's built for playoff hockey either, because we all know playoff hockey changes drastically. Obviously with them being a non-hitting team, terrible at faceoffs, if you get a Boston or a Carolina in that first round, that's not going to be pretty probably in that round, but that's okay. I still would rather see that than miss, but I think that's where they're going to end up going, especially on that third line, is trying to find guys that can get them some more hitting and some more grit, and and then watch the fuck out is all I'll say.
Is Yoki Haru a top 4 defenseman for you?
At the moment, I'm at a no. Can he be? Sure.
See, going back to a couple years ago, even through last year, I was looking at him and I think he can progress there. He's really starting to show signs of this is where I'm going to be at. He is a 4-6 defenseman for me. I'd like to find another right D-man that is a 2-4 D-man, which, we have Dowling, so it's going to be a 4 D-man, a very solid 4 D-man.
Yeah.
But, generally speaking, I'd like to have another 2-4 instead of having him at a 4-6 and then trying to find somebody else that's a 4-6 and then a 7 D-man. Is there anybody that you're kind of looking at that can fill that role?
I mean, his stock's taking a hit, but you got a guy that's available in the free agency, and even if in a trade, and probably not going to be a lot for him. This guy like Klingberg's out there. He has a high-end offensive talent potential in his game. I know he's kind of taken a bit of a hit the last few years, so that's, it depends on how you're how you feel about that. Obviously, the ultimate name's Carlson, but he makes way too much money for what Buffalo wants to do at this point.
Those are both on the left side too.
Are they? I thought Klingberg was a right. My bad. Maybe not.
Maybe I'm wrong on that one. I don't know. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said anything. I'm not confident.
I could tell you in a minute. Actually, he's right here. No, Klingberg is a right D. Now that doesn't mean he shoots right. So yeah, he's a right D man. That's why I went with him first. I'm looking at you got somebody like Matt Dumba, who is going to be available in free agency coming up. He's a right defenseman who shoots right. Do you go after him? I don't know what his contract's going to be right. It doesn't look like he's going to stay in Minnesota. He doesn't quite fit the age group because he's 28, but not that that's old, mind you.
No, that's kind of what we need.
Yeah, so I mean, that would be the two that I would look into probably more than anything. You want a 2-4 right-handed defenseman that's going to be easily available. Dumba for a trade would take a lot more than Klingberg this year, so I'm not wanting to trade with either one of them. But if you sign either one, Klingberg, I think you're getting a bit more risk with Klingberg. I think Dumba would be the more solid option, but you're not going to have as high offensive upside with him.
No, I'm glad that you brought up Dumba's name. I've been a fan of Matt Dumba for a long while. I know he's kind of up and down, but he's often asked to take on bigger roles. Fitting in with Buffalo, he's not taking over for Dahling.
No.
Forget about that. Don't even worry about that. He's not stressing there. And you look at his defensive partner of Owen Power, you don't have to worry about trying to cover there. Owen Power is the first on both ends of the ice, hauling ass.
Mm-hmm.
He's a beast. I think Dumba would be a nice fit in with that.
Mm-hmm. I'd be curious to see what contract he wants at this point. He's currently at $6 million cap hit at the end of this contract, so I'm going to be very curious what he ends up wanting. Does he want around that again? Is he going to take less? Because this year he's been, at least offensively, but he's never been a huge offensive guy with the exception of 17-18 where he had 50 points. But other than that, he's always been below his career high beyond the 50 is 34. He's not as big of an offensive
And you said he's 28 years old?
He's 28. He has 12 points in 48 games this year, so he's on pace for 24, which is about where he's been the last 5 years.
Would you want Matt Dumba in Buffalo, 5 years, $5 million?
5 years, $5 million. You also get a guy with significant playoff experience too. That's important. I wouldn't feel great with the contract, but I would not be opposed to that contract.
But we're getting into off-season talk already. This was the All-Star break review for the Buffalo Sabres. It's a good season, happy season. Let's go Buffalo! We got the red and black. We have the royal and gold. We have an awesome reverse retro.
So smooth.
A team of 1,000 jerseys this year, it seems like, and they're all fantastic. The team's fantastic. Love you, Buffalo. Until next time, deuces.